What? Did you get it?
No, but she asked me for their email address.
I think like 20. I probably should take this off.
I hope someone, I told
They
people that
can't
you were
get
gonna be here.
It's off limits in this building.
Reset me, but that's all I could do.
That's it.
Nuh-uh, not this color. I told them that you were gonna be here tonight.
They're not gonna get No,
I'm sending someone
I'm
after her. She will be
hoping-
assassinated.
I'm not getting assassinated.
I want you out of the game.
You're rude. You're disrespectful.
I hear that you're making all the arbitration. You're making-
Everybody.
Oh, I'm making everybody.
Nobody likes her.
I heard.
Yeah, fine.
All right, welcome everyone. I'd like to call the board meeting to order. If we could, please start with the pledge of allegiance in a moment. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. All right, the first item on the agenda tonight, I'd like to get a motion for the approval of the amended agenda presented.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the approval of the amended agenda presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, we'll start right off fresh here with the patron comments. I do have several people in attendance. I do have one, Mr. Brandon Short, if you'd like to come to the podium. Please state your name and address and the topic that you are speaking about, please. Yeah.
Good evening. First, I want to say thank you for letting me speak. I know officially the logo and rebrand is not on the agenda today, but it is kind of a hot topic the last week or two. So thank you. My name is Brandon Short. I live at 122 East Vine Street in Delphi, Indiana. I'm going to read this pretty quickly to respect everybody's time. So, Superintendent Dr. Moore, Board President Mr. Owens, and the remainder of the board, I, along with many others, are disappointed and alarmed in the lack of diligence regarding the approval of the agreement with Matchpoint Studios and the blatant disrespect of the staff, faculty, students, and greater community in regard to the services provided and presented by Matchpoint Studios with little to no oversight or involvement from anyone other than Dr. Moore. The following are 3 issues regarding this topic. The first issue is the alarming legal ramifications. Title II of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 200.320, states the methods of procurement to ensure fair competition and fiscal responsibility. It reads as follows, and I paraphrased it for brevity. There are 3 types of procurement methods: informal, formal, and non-competitive. Informal typically applies to micro purchases with a maximum threshold of $15,000, it's 1.5. This is the only method where additional quotes are not required and a purchase may be made from a single quote. An exception is the non-competitive method, which may only be used if one of the following circumstances applies. 1, the amount does not exceed the $15,000 threshold. 2, only one source can fulfill the needs. 3, the emergency need will not permit a delay resulting from a bid procedure. 4, the recipient requests in writing to use this method and obtains a written approval. Or 5, after soliciting several sources, competition is determined to be inadequate. Simply put, other sources were not solicited and never provided quotes. This approved quote was for $50,000, so it exceeds the threshold by more than 3 times. While there may exist loopholes allowing the school to not follow these federal rules, the internal threshold has always been $5,000. It is in the best interest of the school and community that these rules be followed where possible, rather than taking advantage of a potential technicality or bypassing internal guidelines to make things happen when those things are neither emergent nor required for the well-being of the corporation. Second issue is the 2 phrases, they will just have to get used to it and they don't like change. This is the response I initially received when I brought up my issues prior to this meeting. This is a reductive point of view that discounts the ideas and opinions that our new strategic plan touts having a focus on, regardless of the follow through. And finally, the third issue is the lack of financial responsibility. This is not anyone's personal money that we can just do with as we please. Too many people in the last 6.5 years have worked way too hard to get this corporation back into a financially sound position. I understand the stark difference between then and now, but there was an initial irresponsible decision that was allowed snowballed into that issue several years ago. I worked too hard to cut the IT budget in half. Anne Marie Circle and Lindsey Brown and Chip Dale and Andrea Miller and Joe Vogt and many others have all worked way too hard over the last few years to do their part to save this corporation every dollar they could to get us back into stability. After all the work that has been done, it's a shame and extremely disrespectful to not only blow $50,000 on the rebrand, but to never once reach out to any of the fantastic and extremely skilled and creative resources we already have. I'm beyond proud of the arts program we have in this corporation, with Amanda Armstrong, Daniel Bradford, Jay Dennison, Angela Vinson, and Julie Dennison, and all of the teachers and staff with amazing abilities they use every day to make this corporation vibrant, inclusive, and welcoming to all students. Finally, I would urge you to rethink your decisions, to recant the unwanted new logo that very obviously looks like an Indigenous woman, and move forward by involving and having open, honest communications with key stakeholders and contributors. Thank you again for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Okay. Brandon was the only one in attendance tonight that chose to speak, so we will be moving forward now. I would like to invite Performance Services for their presentation.
Thank you, Board President, members of the board, Dr. Moore. We appreciate having some time tonight. So that's okay. Once again, here tonight, Tony Kuykendall, Development Manager with Performance Services, joined by our Project Development Architect, Martin Sams. And we have I know you heard from us a month ago, kind of reviewing the district-wide assessment, putting together the strategic plan over the next 10 to 20 years for Delphi Community School Corporation. Tonight will be a much more condensed presentation, really just kind of highlighting and summarizing some of the potential projects for the school corporation here in 2026. I'd like to kind of walk you through some of that as well. Next slide, please. Just as a reminder, the team that really worked pretty tirelessly on this, because over the last several months, we've pulled this together, not hastily, but just efficiently to kind of ensure that we can kind of leverage your upcoming summer window to really complete many of these improvements. So this is the key team members that have been involved on the architectural engineering side. We both heard from Jordan and Jim at the last board meeting. Both Mark, Keith, and Alex, they're going to play a critical role as we kind of get these projects kicked off from a project management perspective. And then our leadership team, myself and Mark Titus. Next slide, please. So tonight, we'd like to kind of walk you through. We're super excited. There are some great improvements coming pretty much at all the buildings here across the district. So I'm gonna have Martin walk through these. His team was really heavily involved in the design side, so he can kind of provide some of the key takeaways. But we will be kind of focusing really on safety and security here at the middle school, kind of updating that secure entryway, as well as the main entrance, kind of enhancing that. It's got some age on it, as we're all aware. So you'll see some of that scope of work. And then really super excited about the Child Care Center and kind of what's going to be occurring over at DCES. That does include us in making some changes and upgrades over at Camden Elementary School to ensure that all the kids have the appropriate facilities and good learning environments as well. And last but not least, it's been a long time coming. This setup works pretty well as far as a boardroom and maybe a community gathering point. But we're also proposing a dedicated boardroom community area as well over at the administration building. So with that, Martin, I'll turn it over to you. Next slide, please, and we'll walk through some of these highlights.
So we'll start here at the middle school. Then we keep it brief. I know we only have 10 minutes, but giving an architect only 10 minutes to talk is so I'll keep my eyes peeled for the Apollo hook. But go to the next slide. So what we're doing out here at the main entry of the middle school is really increasing the staff and student security by introducing a secure vestibule setup to the main entry. To do that, we're taking advantage of a classroom that's right next door and moving a lot of the main office reception function into that space. So the area that's kind of in the blue there, visitors to the school now will still get buzzed in through the main exterior doors, but they'll be in that vestibule space until the receptionist is able to physically put eyes on them and buzz them into the main office. At the main office, they'll be able to check credentials, find out why they're in the school before visitors would then get buzzed into the actual school itself to get access. So currently the way it was, Really, before you encountered someone at the desk, you could go left or right and get into the school. So we're taking these steps to improve that and make the school more secure. In the red down there, to the space that was the main administrative reception desk, on the right, we're taking what was the student incentives area that was in that classroom, moving it into kind of a front space, putting it kind of on display. So students will be able to see those incentives and hopefully be encouraged to get the Delphi dollars to use there. And then some improvements to the technology office there on the left. Next. So just a rendering of what the main office space will look like when we're done. A new reception desk, views to the outside, so the receptionists will be able to see people approaching the building before they ever get to the doors, and then just a nice modern workspace for the staff. Out at the front door, we're taking a look at the main entry canopy. It's got the white stucco on it now. Some of that is failing, just kind of starting to show its age. So we're taking a look at really upgrading and unifying a lot of the entries along that north elevation. So taking the branding, kind of introducing the signboard concept with these bookended brick piers with light up signs or cubes on the top that'll kind of glow at night so people know where they're going.
And that sign gonna be backlit too.
Yeah, and then the text will be backlit, so you'll be able to read it at night, but it won't contribute a lot of light pollution to the community. And then at DCES, go to the next slide. Really excited to introduce you go one more slide. Thank you. Really excited to introduce a childcare center to the district. So what we're able to do here with really no change, modifications to the building infrastructure itself, is take advantage of these classrooms kind of on this bend in the building and creating 3, an infant room and 4 toddler rooms to accommodate the childcare. With secure entry, its own dedicated office, its own food prep room, really be able to operate in containment without egress or opportunities for elopement out of that space into the rest of the school. And then to support that, we are doing a new drop-off drive because these parents will park and walk their kids in or bring infants in a carrier. We've introduced a few parking spaces, a one-way drop-off space for that so that traffic won't interfere with the current elementary school pick-up and drop-off line, which we all know is sacred and shall not be touched. Next.
And then just touching on this next slide, please. So to do that, as far as some of those students that will be coming over to Camden Elementary School, just highlighting, this kind of shows the floor plan. Really the main improvements that we're looking to do are in regards to the HVAC throughout this space. So there were several different types of heating and or more or less cooling systems in that facility. And this will basically kind of bring those up to code and bring those up to kind of snuff as far as what you would see traditionally. So kind of those 6 rooms that are on that kind of that semicircle right there, those will all have now the proper HVAC that will be in there. The area that is hatched, and I'll say the darker hatch, which is kind of more of that commons area out front, it does have that ceiling that's more of a, if you think about that popcorn, but more of like a stucco type ceiling. For us to kind of run the necessary kind of ductwork and piping through there, we will actually be able to remove that, which that is a product that looks pretty dated. We'll remove all that and we'll go back with a new 2x2 kind of lay-in ceiling, which is more traditional for school environments as well. We are getting some work done in other surrounding rooms. This doesn't show all the work that's being completed there, but any of those spaces that you will have your kiddos in, they are going to be addressed with new HVAC.
And Tony, if I can chime in, two more points on that are the fresh air in the classrooms. The new system that we're putting in will bring in the adequate fresh air. The cooling will replace all the window units that are in there now. And the upgrades will tie this system into the building control system. So Chris will be able to monitor the status of the rooms remotely. Right now, they're really not able to be aware of an issue until a teacher files a ticket to get fixed. So Chris will be able to monitor that from remote like the rest of the systems on our campus.
Great point. Next slide, please. And then additionally, we're not doing major changes to the gymnasium, a really cool gymnasium there. We are going to be going back with this project and putting in LED lighting. So there are obviously significant cost savings. It will really provide a lot more light to the space as well. And there are rebates that are available. So that's not currently factored into kind of the information that we provided to the school board at this point in time, but we'll fill out that paperwork. Any rebates that are available then get directed back to the school corporation. So we will help with that process.
Significantly less heat generated by these lights as well.
Excellent.
So as Tony mentioned earlier, the administration building that's out here on the west end of the parking lot, taking what was once a vehicle service bay, you can see there with the garage door, and turning that into a dedicated community board space. You can go to the next slide. In addition to the interior work, we're also going to be doing some site work there, removing the asphalt drive that leads to that vehicle bay now, replacing it with a concrete pedestrian plaza. So people have kind of a pre and post function space to congregate in. We'll have some planters and some benches in there. And then we're also modifying the drive a little bit to give this drop-off blister. So if someone's getting dropped off at the building that's either elderly or has a mobility impairment, you'll be able to drop them off right at the front door while you park and come in yourself. So looking at the building here, the boardroom is on the left. And then doing some upgrades to the finishes and kind of look and feel of the rest of the building as well, just to kind of bring it, reintroduce some new finishes and bring it up to modern times there. A couple renderings of what that'll look like. Here's the boardroom setup. We've got monitors on either side, so the board and the community will be able to see any presentations that are being done. Logo branding wall at the back. New finishes, LED lighting. Will really be a nice board/community space when it's done. And then a new look at the kind of district welcome desk or the admin space. So this will be kind of the front door as people come to your district to either enroll or have questions. This will be kind of a new statement piece at the front. One of the other upgrades that we're doing is right now that building is lacking in exterior lighting, a safety concern for the staff there as they arrive, especially in the winter months. They're getting to work when it's dark, they're leaving work when it's dark. We really wanted to provide safety and a more welcoming environment for the staff and visitors to the building. So we've got some exterior lighting in the canopy that goes over the new doors to the boardroom, as well as some additional site lighting.
Okay. So as we kind of wrap up here, I definitely want to make sure I kind of share with the school board, since we were here last, kind of shared the assessment information. Our team has been hard at work, so our project management team, we've taken all these drawings out for competitive bid. We've gone through that process, received those bids, kind of delivered those back to the school corporation. And you have in front of you like an 11x17 sheet that summarizes all the pricing information. So that's kind of what's being proposed and kind of summarized here in the slides that we've reviewed here tonight. And really, as far as next steps, with your approval tonight, they call it a step 1 report. They authorize step 2. Step 2 is essentially, hey, let's go ahead and get started on the construction or on the additions. Let's build it. So that comes up a little bit later tonight. And we really look to begin, as far as the schedule wise, these projects will begin this summer. So I know that's not that far away, and I'm sure all the students, everybody are excited because that summer is coming and it's coming quickly. With your approval tonight, we will immediately kind of contact contractors, suppliers, and we're going to basically mobilize. Priority-wise, we are looking to accomplish the work that Martin was talking about over at Delphi Community Elementary School with the child care facility and over at Camden Elementary School. Those have to be completed and done and turned over so that when kids come back in the fall, those spaces are ready. Shortly right behind that, we'll be finishing the secure entry here at the middle school, as well as the canopy. You have several entrances here, so that can slide a little bit into the fall just because of timing. We can't get everything done in an 8 to 10 week summer anymore. It's very challenging. Last but not least, those improvements over at the administration building, and everything would be finished by this fall. So it'll be super exciting that you'll be able to use the new entries, the new spaces, everything over at the elementary school, Camden, and then potentially hold your board meetings this fall at dedicated space. Next slide kind of wraps it up. So that's what we want to share tonight to kind of provide you all a summary, and I know we'll be on the agenda a little bit later, but are there any questions or comments that you would like to ask?
The high school?
Yes, I should have commented on that. So we shared this one because I think it's a really kind of a cool rendering that ties in very closely to what we're proposing over at the middle school. This is not currently in this project, but we did, when we kind of look at doing different projects, we don't want to just stay hyper-focused on one area. We want to make sure that as you progress through your plan and have the ability to do improvements, this is what it would look like. So it's going to be very much, it's going to be consistent as you look at the middle school. There's even a proposed entrance at the athletics entrance as well. And this gives you an idea of what it'll look at the high school. These can be added, so I know the schools, if you have some funds or budgets come available, these can be added, but that's just a rendering for right now.
I guess, I don't know if this is a question for you really, but what are you gonna do in that process between where school's already started and what are you gonna do drop off and pick up wise between when school starts and then when the project finishes? How are parents gonna come pick up their kids and where is that gonna happen? Is there gonna be construction in the way or?
Yeah, so
I don't know if that's a question.
probably a two-part question, and Dr. Moore, I may lean on you after I provide my response to you. So good, really good question. So before we kick any project off, we always have a project kickoff meeting with the administration, with principals, so they know exactly which spaces will be impacted and when. Being that we do all of our work, pretty much 95% of what we do is with schools. So we're used to doing construction in and around kind of the school environment and school schedule. For the middle school, we probably have to provide a phasing plan to the district and then kind of work with your team on kind of what the pickup and drop off looks like. I don't have a definitive
That's okay.
answer just yet because that's kind of the next step coming up. But I can assure you when we kind of discuss probably working with Mr. Valenta on some of the lay down areas and where construction is, we're going to look to do those outside of what your general circulation is. Unless we just can't help it.
Yeah.
We would share that with you up front and figure out what time.
And the advantage we have in this building is there are so many other entry points that connect, so even if it's a little further walk, there's other entries that you can still get to where you need to go in the
Yeah.
building.
And just to add to that, those are conversations that, we've already been having as an administration team. And you're right, with the multiple entrances, having that clear communication with families, and then also the signage would be really important during that time. But we can be flexible. We're lucky that, the middle school is connected to the high school, so we do have some options, but that's a great question.
So Tony, sorry, I missed last meeting. So when we have our entrance way for our early childhood, that'll be secured just like any other facility,
Yep,
right?
that's
Or
right.
entrance,
So
right?
the exterior door on that will have an A-phone video conferencing.
Okay.
They'll interface with staff. So they'll be able to let people into that vestibule. It'll then be secured from there. And then they'll have to be buzzed in that next set of doors to actually get into the childcare center. So really 2 points of security before you get into the kiddos.
Okay, and then security for Camden. There are doors there that they can't even key to get in or anything like that. Will those doors then, I think there's 3 or maybe 4 that they can't get in when they go out to recess. They just can't get back in because there's no buzz, no nothing there. Will that then be addressed then too, I assume, in this for safety reasons? That's minor stuff, but just a point out more than anything.
We haven't discussed anything about that with performance services, but that's something, Joe and I can look at further. That hasn't been brought to my
Right.
attention, so happy to talk with Joe about if we need to make adjustments with our electronic system.
It's been there 100 years like that, but if we're there, if that's something that you guys could help us do, then that would be the time.
We'll jot it down and we'll connect with you, Joe, and you, Dr. Moore.
And in that
The
vein,
first question.
oh, sorry, Steph, go ahead.
Well, mine was just off of Kirk. So is the front office staff at the elementary school today responsible then for buzzing in and out of the childcare center?
No,
That
so
would be
because
its
two
own.
completely separate entrances, and so the person who would be the director of the childcare center would have the access and the control of that entrance, completely separate.
I knew it was separate. I just wanted to make sure.
Mhm.
So I was just curious, you might have said this, but what about at the admin building? Security? Is there an area that allows people into the building without getting access to the whole building, or?
So the boardroom, community room does have a vestibule that can be secured. The entry into
Front
the main
office.
office itself will be as it is today, where there's a camera or a buzzer there, so you don't actually get in until
So
the
someone lets you in?
receptionist that's sitting there can see you and hit the button.
I guess something else I'll throw out again, at the admin or up the admin building, the board, whatever, we're gonna redo concrete, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Right.
That asphalt.
Is there any thought about, or what the cost might be to make the cement heated? So in the wintertime, you don't have to worry about being ice or anything like that. I mean, that's kind of a thing that's, I've seen work really well. But I didn't know if that's something that, what the cost is. I mean, I know what cost is to put it in, but if that's something that may be beneficial to us, because then you don't have to go and spend the salt. You don't have to go have somebody out there scraping it, because it's heated up to the point where it melts off. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're laying new cement, I mean, it's just thermo.
Yeah, so for right now, that's not currently part of that
Right.
design, but you're probably gonna chime in. to say-
Yeah, it's a system we're familiar with and have done before. If you're interested in exploring that, we certainly
We
could.
can look into that.
Well, I think we should, as a board, look at that it's a safety thing for a community to come up there and slip. And if we're gonna have more and more traffic in there, at least maybe the walkways up through, right?
We'll make notes to follow up.
Yeah, I
on
mean-
that, kind of at least circulate that back and see what
Yeah.
what the additional cost is, if
Right.
it's worthwhile.
It's under $17,000, we're good, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We can change that number. We can go ahead and up a little
Yeah.
more.
Right. Right, well, I appreciate Performance Services' ability to kind of turn on the dime here, because you guys had to put the bids out and get them done very, very quick to meet our time frame. So I appreciate you guys taking the time and making this happen.
Absolutely. Thank you all for the opportunity to talk.
All right,
Stick around.
thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
All right, at this point, I will invite Mrs. Allard to the podium for the DCMS recognition.
Right, thank you. So we focus this time, really focusing on the legacy of integrity. That's been a big push this year for both myself and Mrs. Shiflett, looking at not only our student population, but also our staff. So just a little blurb. So at DCMS, we believe integrity is more than a word, it's a daily choice. It's shown in the moments when no one is watching, when doing the right thing isn't the easiest option, and when individuals choose to lead through their actions. And tonight we're proud to recognize students and staff who are consistently modeling integrity in action. These individuals set the tone for our school culture, demonstrating honesty, accountability, and leadership in very meaningful ways. As we close out the school year, we have about a month, 20-ish days, something like that. Yeah, crazy. It's gonna fly by. We are especially excited to honor a group of 8th grade students who are leaving behind a legacy, one defined not just by what they've accomplished, but by how they've carried themselves and the example they've set for others. Their impact will last far beyond their time at DCMS. First up, I'd like to recognize Reese Wheelock. We gathered from teachers and staff from all 3 years of different ways to describe Reese. And this is kind of a collection of those responses. Reese is an exceptional student whose positive attitude and kind spirit make a lasting impact on everyone around him. He is hardworking, intelligent, and naturally curious, always eager to learn and grow. Reese is incredibly caring and accepting of his classmates, consistently showing kindness, support, and respect to others. His loyalty, independence, and willingness to help make him a dependable and valued member of our school community. Simply put, Reese is a joy to have in our school and truly represents the best of who we strive to be. Next up, we have someone who was unable to be with us tonight, but I'll go ahead and recognize her and why we chose her as one of our 4th graders to recognize. Her name is Ariana Burge. Ariana is a remarkable student whose maturity and character truly set her apart. She's mature beyond her years, and watching her grow into the young woman she is today has been nothing short of a blessing. Ariana is kind, compassionate, and empathetic, with a big heart and an intuitive nature that allows her to connect easily with others. She is a determined and resilient student who takes responsibility for her learning and consistently demonstrates independence. With her lively personality, sense of humor, and ever-present smile, Ariana brightens the day of those around her. She is helpful, grounded, and inspiring, an outstanding student who represents our school with pride. So we'll give her and honor her tomorrow. Next up is Ian Maxwell. Love that, right? Ian is also hardworking and dedicated to his schoolwork, consistently representing our school in a positive way. He is a natural leader and team player, outgoing, dependable, and always willing to take initiative. During a difficult swim practice, Ian stepped up without hesitation, and his coach knew he could count on him as his right-hand man, an example of his leadership and reliability. Ian is also not afraid to stand up for others or speak up for what is right, even when it's not the most popular opinion. His kindness, consideration, and strong sense of accountability, paired with his driven attitude, make him a respected and valued member of our school. And lastly, but certainly not least, for our students, is Ella Perry. Ella has served as an office aide for the past 3 years and has consistently been a sweet, welcoming, and positive presence in our building. She's a thoughtful and hardworking student who always strives to do her best. Ella is dependable, responsible, and compassionate, with a genuine and kind nature that makes her easy to work with and appreciated by all. She approaches challenges with grace and a smile, even when faced with unexpected obstacles. Her resilience, humility, and dedication make her not only an amazing student, but also an inspirational role model for others. Going into our staff that we are recognizing this evening. First up, we have Miss Norma Carpenter. Norma Carpenter is an all-around team player who consistently shows what it means to be dedicated to her school community. She is reliable, focused, and always willing to step in whenever help is needed. Known for being compassionate, helpful, and selfless, Norma puts others first and works collaboratively to support both students and staff. Her positive attitude and sense of humor bring a fun energy to the building, making her someone others naturally gravitate towards. We are grateful for her commitment, her teamwork, and the difference she makes every single day. Next up, we have Mr. Jeff Hoover. Normally we just say Hoover, so it feels very weird to say his full name. Hoover is a true leader and an absolute gem to our school community. He consistently goes above and beyond, showing a level of passion and commitment that makes a lasting impact on both students and staff. Known for being resourceful, dependable, and focused, Hoover approaches everything he does with purpose and dedication. His spirited, competitive nature and natural talent shine through in all areas, but what truly sets him apart is his energy. He's always the first to jump in on Spirit Days and get everyone pumped up. Even as a Hoosier fan to the core, we can't help but love his youthful spirit and infectious personality. Hoover brings enthusiasm, leadership, and positivity to our building each and every day, and we are incredibly lucky to have him. And last up, we have Dr. Polly Andrews. You didn't know that?
I love her.
Polly is an educated, organized, and highly respected member of our school community whose impact is felt daily. She is consistent, adaptable, and welcoming, creating an environment where students and staff feel supported and valued. Known for her insight, knowledge, and purposeful approach, Dr. Andrews is both dependable and passionate in everything she does. Her diligence, focus, and fairness have earned her the respect of colleagues and students alike. While it is bittersweet to see Dr. Andrews move on next year, we are incredibly grateful for the time, care, and dedication she has given to DCSC and all of the students involved. Her presence has truly made a lasting difference in our community. And just to close out, really focusing on that integrity piece, So the students and staff we recognize tonight show us what's possible when people consistently choose to do the right thing, even when it's not easy. They are setting the standard and inspiring others to rise alongside them. So as we move forward, we're excited to keep building a culture where integrity is not only expected, but modeled, celebrated, and lived out by everyone each and every day. Thank you.
Picture, so we're gonna start with the students and the board first.
Glad you put on your best shirt.
Yeah.
Glad you put on your best shirt for the building tonight.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, that's probably a good idea.
Why is he not in the picture? Hold on one second.
Ready, we got room.
Yeah. It's good. It's not like I need to get front of it.
1, 2, 3, big smile. There we go.
Good job, guys. Okay, and staff, come on over. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you.
She's back there somewhere.
Like one of the first meetings she came to, I was like, "That's Alexis Scott." I was like, "You're Alexis Scott." She's like, "No, he's not. No, he's not." She was too scared to ask you.
Where is she?
She is not a believer now. I cannot believe that he was sitting.
It's not that I didn't believe it, it's, I
She just
didn't.
didn't want to believe it.
I mean,
Didn't I drive the bus for you when you were dancing as a middle school? You dancing in middle school?
no.
All right. Congratulations to everyone for their recognition. This is a chance for those to leave. It looks like they already have come out, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward. Congratulations, Norma.
You're welcome, Bill. Get home safe.
All right, we're on consent items number 5 now. I'd like to get a motion for the approval of 5A through P, excluding Q, and R through Z. That includes A being the minutes for March 9th for the 2026 meeting, B being the minutes for the March 2nd, 2026 executive session, 5C, the monthly and payroll claims, 5D, the approval of the monthly financial report as submitted by the treasurer. We've got some recommendations in here as well as a couple of retirements. Also some summer school recommendations and a couple of fundraisers here. I'm excluding Q only so Gil can abstain from that when we get to that.
I did not know that was a thing. Thank you. Good catch.
So I'd like to get a motion for 5A through P and R through Z.
So,
Second.
Any discussion, questions?
can somebody get a hold of me about pork burgers, I guess.
That's not.
Okay. All in favor of 5A through P and R through Z as presented, say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, now I'd like to get a motion for 5Q. That's the approval of the Delphi Athletics recommendation for a coach for softball.
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor of 5Q, the athletics recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, motion carries. Okay, at this point, I'd like to invite Mrs. Eller back to the podium for the DCMS school presentation.
I have to agree since I've had so much to say before. So, it's been a while. So just kind of, I know the last time we really focused on our culture. Obviously you got to see a little bit of that with our recognitions, but then also just kind of adding in some pieces to update you since the last time that DCMS presented last fall. So go ahead and go. So we did a school-wide fundraiser last winter, right before we left for winter break. It was the best sales that we've had in at least 3 years, and I know that because I've been here. So that was awesome to hear, and that was funding our field trips and the transportation, so that can be another cost that our teams don't have to calculate as they are planning academic trips and getting our students those experiences outside. And then on top of that, we also did around the Olympics, for the Winter Olympics, we did a coin wars. And middle schoolers and staff, students and staff, both get very competitive. And we had tied the prizes, which we'll see in just a moment, all kind of like cold, wintry, like, so there were like popsicles that you could win. I gave away like free lunch passes, ice cream sundaes, things that were wintry-esque, I guess, sure. Raised over $650 in that. So that money is gonna be used towards our Teacher Appreciation Week here in just less than a month. So if you wanna go. So this was when they earned their prizes. So it was, the men really stepped up in these homerooms. So Mr. Henderson's, they got popsicles. Mr. Gasser's got the silver, and they had like an ice cream bar, an ice cream sandwich. And then the next one, the gold, they got a full ice cream sundae that they could build. And so they were the top score. So there was some sabotaging, some double days. It was a lot of fun. We also had our National Junior Honor Society induction over the last couple of months, and our sponsor's actually in the room. So Amanda took that on this year and has done a great job holding meetings and communicating with them. So that was just a snapshot of our members and then our newest ones that will be joining the group. Also in the last month, our 8th graders took a bowling trip. This is the first time that our PE department planned this trip for our students to be able to get some out of the community and also something active that is relating to the content. So obviously you can tell they had a lot of fun. So it was a great trip, and I'm hoping they do that again. Can't forget the Spirit Weeks. So we did a teacher-student swap. So I was very impressed because we were pretty adamant to the students that they can't have face paint because you give them a little and they run a mile. And so we had some very creative 6th grade students that put felt to match Mr. Henderson, got the stance with the coffee mug and the whole bit. And then I was twinning with a student as well. So we got to dress. So we did an underground Spirit Week last week with just the staff, and that was a lot of fun too. Also here just recently, for instead of March Madness, Mr. Gasser hosted Math Madness, and also had some sponsored gift cards from the doc here locally. So he had a little fun with the ChatGPT and wanted to turn them very cartoon-esque, so I included both so you knew who they were. So that was a lot of fun to recognize those students. And then just a snapshot of what's been happening. We had Mrs. Hamilton's class in the right-hand corner. They made gnomes out of paintbrushes and sold them to staff as part of their business project in her class. Mr. Lucas in the bottom left is teaching some chess, some strategy there. And then the students on the other side are right here in our media center with our new sponsored books from the SIA grant that Ms. Brittany Kinney got. So what's next? So the next time, it'll be a while, right? So we've got iLearn, actually starts tomorrow for us. So that'll be the next Tuesday and Thursday, and then also next Tuesday, Thursday of the following week. We've got 6th grade that's going to the Junior Achievement BizTown, which is set up it covers all of their civics standards. So they go and it's basically like a town, and then they have to budget and plan and earn their money. So it's a really cool experience for them. 7th grade is heading to Turkey Run. So they partner with, especially our science department, to learn all about the different rocks and things, what they can look for, what the lines all mean. and kind of investigate that way. And then 8th grade, they're heading to the Indianapolis Indians game, and they do a whole history of baseball and all the things, and the ball and the physics and all of that fun stuff. 8th grade also is hosting a semi-formal here in just a few weeks. And then, I'm sorry if I got it wrong. I know that Carroll County Opera House is Art Month, is in May, correct? Yes. And then choir and art, they do a collaboration at the Opera House, and that will be just for DCMS students. And it's really cool. They have the whole bottom, they showcase, Ms. Simpson does a wonderful job of just really pulling out that creativity in students. And then there's a gallery walk. And then once the gallery walk concludes, then Ms. Armstrong has a performance at the second level. So it's a really cool event. So look forward to that. And then teacher appreciation, which we include all staff. That's the first week of May. And then the very last day of school, we'll have our Oracle Awards, where we invite our families in to recognize, just kind of recap the whole year. And then next fall, we will have a Title I Family Engagement Night. So that'll be something to look forward to as well. And that's it. Yeah. Any questions?
All right.
No?
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Dale, with the athletics report.
I've got a couple things I just wanted to, in between submitting a report and now, we have been confirmed and named a semi-state host for volleyball. I think that's the first time Delta has ever hosted above a regional, so that's pretty exciting to be able to put town on display for a full day. It's a 3-game day, so we'll have 2 in the morning and a break, and then 1 in the evening. So it'd be nice to get a bunch of people in town going out to eat and doing that kind of stuff. So that's kind of some big news coming down just through that work with the IHSA I've been doing. Gym floor update. They've got gold down right now. Some of the way, there's lines tomorrow. He expects to be done by Friday. I think that's optimistic, but he does this every day and I don't. So we're hoping to be done Friday. I can see it maybe being Monday, but again, by the end of the week, should be pretty well done, wrapped up on that. And then we have a meeting this week that got scheduled. Parkview, our athletic trainer service, the hospital, they called us all up. They're having a big meeting. The rumors we've heard, it sounds like they might be purchasing some more hospitals, which would increase our service. And they want to expand coverage and things like that. So we're all going up there where they're going to talk about the different things that they're wanting to add to the program or changing the program. So we're kind of excited to hear what they have to say, because so far they've been by far the best partner we've had in that arena. They've been awesome. So I'm excited to go up there and kind of see their plan. So that's what we got.
Thank you. Okay. Final report, Dr. Moore.
Thank you. So I'm going to be sharing a short presentation on the new accountability model from the Indiana Department of Education. This accountability model does apply to all public school districts. It was approved March 4th, so this is very new. And schools have not had a grading system since before COVID. So this is a very big deal. So this is not just a new grading system. It really is a shift that focuses on continuous improvement. And with our motto, every student, every opportunity, we are going to be looking to make sure we're supporting every student. The overview is that this accountability model is connected directly to the GPS framework, which I will be sharing with you in a minute. There's a dashboard, and it is going to measure the following areas: academic mastery, career and post-secondary readiness, credentials and experiences, communication and collaboration, work ethic, civic, financial, and digital literacy. And this is all the way K through 12. So this is what I'm referring to with the GPS. There was a dashboard that, if you can click on that, Joe, that highlights our school district. there is a dashboard for every school district and for every school. And so it will show you how we're performing in each area. It shows not only if we are proficient in areas, but also the growth. So if you scroll down just slowly there, Joe, we have third grade literacy, graduation pathways completion, and it also shows not only where we're at, but also what the goal is from the state. Keep scrolling, Joe. Just scroll slowly. So they're measuring attendance. Soon, they will be also sharing kindergarten readiness. There's a new assessment that is coming out that we will be opting in next year, so that our kindergarten students, so we can see where they're at with kindergarten readiness. Also, pre-K will be looked at as well. Continuing, measuring third grade literacy. Again, that was at the top, but they break it down even further. Joe, if you can click on third grade literacy, and then it will show you over time your scores. It will show you corporation, it will show you the state, and then it will also break it down by demographics. You can keep scrolling, Joe. So again, graduation pathways completion, SAT performance, and so on. Go ahead and keep scrolling, Joe. So again, you can see at the bottom, each school then has their own dashboard. Joe, if you want to click on the high school, just to show individual schools. And again, this is for the state. This is what the state has been putting together for each school district, for each school. And this is the system that they will be using to measure and provide us with our overall rating. We will receive a rating, which will be a grade for the school district and for each individual school. Okay, Joe, if you can go back to the presentation, thank you. And so to break it down for the new accountability model, there are areas of focus. And so this is a breakdown, K through 3, 4 through 8, 9 through 10, and 11 and 12. So this is getting a little bit deep in the weeds, but I want to give you a little bit of an overview. So with the scoring, K through 3, they will look at proficiency. So we're going to look at iLearn proficiency. This is an example, through third grade. But then in addition to that, we can earn additional points for all of these areas here. So for instance, if students are meeting attendance, if students they're considering the WIDA assessment for our EL learners. Grades 4 through 8, same thing. It starts with earning some points for academic mastery with iLearn, and then it breaks it down. Here's some additional points for science iLearn, social studies iLearn, looking at 1 year of academic progress. They measure that based on iLearn. So the beauty of this model and this accountability system is that every student has the opportunity to earn points. So every student counts. So this does move away from what I would consider an old model where only some students could earn points if they were able to really be proficient on this assessment. There are other factors now that are considered in which students can earn additional points. If you can scroll to the next slide. So here's an example of that. Again, not to get too deep into the weeds, but just to show you an example. So even if a student is below proficiency on the iLearn assessment, but they are able to meet their WIDA target, which is an assessment for students, EL students, and they are able to pass their iRead, they can earn points. Whereas in the past, the old model, if they were not able to pass the iLearn, they had no other opportunity to earn points. So again, students can earn points for multiple things in multiple areas. The system is clearly very complex, as you saw all of the different ways in which you can earn points. But again, every student can earn points. If you can go to the next slide. So here's grades 7 through 8. So again, looking at the iLearn proficiency, academic mastery, and then again, earning additional points here, such as Mrs. Allard and I have been talking about, completing a graduation plan in 7th grade earns you points. And so we're working with Mrs. Gaynor on that, making sure we have that set up. So again, each area is broken down so that we are really catering to that specific grade span. And then also looking at individual areas in which students can earn points. You can scroll to the next slide. And here's an example 4 through 8. Again, you can look at maybe a student is approaching proficiency. So again, may not have passed the iLearn assessment. They still earned points for that. And then the additional areas that we looked at, maybe they were able to complete that 7th grade graduation plan. And then continuing, adding another area, maybe they met their WIDA. And then we continue, maybe they met attendance and they could still earn points. You see how you can continue to accumulate points in multiple areas. This accountability model is not based on one test. Continue. Here again is grades 9 through 10. As you see, things are a little bit different now. We're looking at, 9th graders. Are they on track for graduation? Are they on track with their high school credits? We're now looking at 8th grade, trying to earn some more credits for our 8th graders to get them prepared for 9th grade so that they're able to earn as many points as possible. And then continuing again, looking at attendance, looking at iLearn Biology ECA, CTE coursework. So again, all these different areas in which students can earn points. Continue. And then 11 through 12, it's a little bit different because here we are looking at 80% of a school's grade 12 letter grade is broken down. It's 100%, but 10% is graduation rate. So it is calculated a little bit differently, and SAT. So you have a student's actual points that they've earned is 80%. The school's graduation rate for 11th and 12th grade is 10%, but SAT is also 10%. And so again, they can earn additional points, work-based learning, iLearn ECA, meeting a math benchmark, which we can consider ACT as well. That would be in addition to the SAT. So again, all these different ways in which we can earn points. Continuing. 11 through 12 example here. So maybe we have a student who earned a diploma, did not earn a seal, because now we have different diplomas with seals. So they earned some points, then you times it by 1 if they met one of the additional requirements. Maybe that was through an ACT test. Maybe then they were able to engage in CTE. You continue building and you can keep earning those additional points even if a student does not earn one of the seals on their diploma. Continue. And so right now what this looks like for us, again, this was just finalized in March. We're hardly a month in here. The state is still working on providing guidance to school districts, to individual school leaders. They plan to share information with families, with teachers. And so looking forward to their guidance. But in the meantime, they realize this is a transition year. And so with this year, we will receive our grades, because remember it's district and schools, in mid to late November. And that is for this school year that we're currently living in. So for the 25-26 school year. But it will not impact anything. This is our year 0. This will be our baseline. And then next year is when we will receive a calculation, an A through F scale. They are adjusting it for the first year. It will be 85 to 100 will earn an A. Continue. So what does this mean for us? I mean, I feel like, we're already, doing the hard work here. Our teachers, administrators, professionals here are having those data conversations. We're looking at individual students. We're looking at growth. We are working on targeted interventions for each student. We're going to use that GPS dashboard as they continue to update it with information. We're going to use that to guide our decision-making. Again, we're identifying strengths, right? We want to keep doing the great things we're doing, but we also want to look at our gaps and continue to monitor progress of students as we provide the supports that they need. And this, of course, aligns to our strategic plan. We're student-centered, we have high expectations, and of course, we want to have continuous improvement. Thank you. Any questions? I know that was a lot.
Does the state have any consequences for us on the grades, good or bad?
So I'm not sure that there's any formal document that says anything in regard to consequences. I can say those are things that are being discussed, though.
Okay.
I can't say there's anything formal in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to comment on, I like the ability to go online and actually see the progress, see where we stand, because those are all just numbers. When when people try to ask, I mean, then we have to search those out and find those. This is an easy way to get to that for the public and for anyone to see where our school is. So I do think that's good.
I agree.
Sorry if I missed it. It's an annual evaluation.
That's correct.
It can only be updated once a year.
That's correct. We will receive a grade every year, as in a letter grade. Mhm. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
Extra credit.
Yeah, that's right.
Always trying to do one thing.
Appreciate your support.
What about it?
Superintendent's note.
Stay jealous.
All right. Okay, moving forward to number 8, new business. I'd like to get a motion to discuss the approval of 8A through F, A being the resolution to transfer amounts from the education fund to the operations fund. B being the resolution to transfer funds to the academic teams fund. C, the resolution to transfer funds to the student incentive fund. D, resolution to transfer funds to the flower fund. E, resolution for authorization to open certificates of deposits. And F, resolution to appoint Andrea Miller as designated employee to appear on its behalf in the Carroll Superior Small Claims Court, Carroll County, Indiana. So I'd like to get a motion to discuss A through F.
I so move.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
Okay, we'll start with A, the transfer from education to operations. For school districts, you can transfer up to 15% for each year, and we're asking to transfer 3%. For B, these next several items are where we have remaining balances in some funds that we are asking to transfer to other accounts. And so B would be that there's a remaining balance in the robotics fund, and we're asking to move that to the academic teams fund. Any questions about those first 2 items before I continue? C, a remaining balance in the PLTW fund, and that will be transferred to the student incentives fund. For D, the Leader in Me fund will be transferred to the Flower Fund. Any questions about C or D? For E, looking to open certificates of deposit, taking some funds from what is in our checking to enable us to earn a higher interest rate with different funds for different terms. So 3 month, 6 month, and 9 month. So again, to try to lock in those higher interest rates. And then F, in the event that we do need to try to obtain funds that were intended to be ours, Andrea would represent our school district. Such as if we did not receive the funds maybe through a fundraiser. Any questions?
Any input? Okay. All in favor of 8A through F as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, moving down to new business, I'd like to get a motion for 8G, H, and I. Those are all for creative flooring coverings for carpet in the kindergarten rooms, the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade hallways, as well as the elementary front office and miscellaneous rooms. I get a motion to discuss 8G through I.
So
Second. Dr. Moore.
I'll let Chris speak on behalf of the floor coverings and the quotes we intended to obtain.
Yeah, so basically creative floor covering is the only one that will talk to us anymore because no one else has gotten our bids. So they don't come out and quote us anymore.
However, it's important to note that it's my understanding that over the last several years, they have always come in as the lowest bidder, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And we, like like I said last year, we've built a good relationship with them, so we just like to continue with them.
So we reached out for multiple bids, but only got creative floor coverings back, is what you're saying?
They tried to, but nobody would even return the call.
Okay. Any questions? Okay.
I have a question, sorry. For the elementary school, how did you pick the rooms? Seems like a random assortment.
So there's a rotation. So Chris, I know, works with each of the head custodians on working through a rotation. So I can't speak for exactly how the rotation in each building works, but I know there is a rotation to update the oldest or the most worn to try to update it to the newest. Anything to add, Chris, to that?
I assume none of these are in the new childcare area. That's a question.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, we talked about, I mean, that is a separate part of, I mean, that project. We talked about, we worked with Performance Services on looking at those floor coverings and if they needed to be updated. And actually, many of those rooms were already in pretty good condition when we assessed them. That's a good question, though.
Anything else? Okay. All in favor of new business 8G through I to approve creative floor coverings for all the carpeting as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'd like to get a motion to discuss 8J, Project Lead the Way, grant funded.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Moore?
Chris King wrote a grant for PLTW for $10,000, and these are some items that he would like to purchase with the grant money.
Questions or comments? Okay. All in favor of 8J, the Project Lead the Way Incorporated items funded by the grant, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, I'd like to get a motion to discuss 8K and 8L. This is for Glosson Food Equipment for the DCMS disposer and the DCMS CECC, excuse me, not DCMS, the Glosson Food Equipment CECC conveyor dishwasher.
So moved. Second.
Dr. Moore.
So the first item is for the replacement of a disposer. It is no longer functioning. And then the second item was a slight increase in price from original approval of the dishwasher at Camden.
Any questions or comments on these items?
Do we know on the Camden bid what specifically was increased?
Yes, Andrea and I looked at that and that wasn't the freight slightly higher?
It was the freight and the item itself.
Yes, so a little bit increase in total cost for the item and then the freight.
Is it odd that they would increase after they bid it on the item? I could see where freight might have a variable, but it seems like
The quote was 6 months old, I think.
oh, it was old.
Right. so
Okay, fair enough.
Unfortunately, as everything goes up in price, but that really, I think, is the issue.
Yeah.
That's what happens when we try to plan in advance, right?
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor of 8K and L, the approval of the Glosson Food Equipment for the middle school disposer and the Camden Early Child Care Center conveyor dishwasher, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, 8M, I'd like to get a motion for the approval of Frontline, the annual renewal for recruiting, hiring, absence, and substitute management.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Moore?
So this is the system that we currently use. for recruiting and hiring, job postings. And then, of course, our absence and substitute management system that our employees use. So we're seeking renewal of that current system, both of those systems.
And is that an increase from prior?
I can't speak for that.
Okay.
We've only had good feedback about this
Mhm.
since we went to it, so.
I worked the front line before, and as you look at that one.
Okay. All in favor of 8M, the renewal of frontline software, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8N and O, I'd like to get a motion to discuss the Pioneer Athletics for field paint as well as Kidder Media.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
I will let Chip speak about the paint purchase.
Yeah, we switched 2 years ago to doing it annually instead of biannually. Saved us on freight and it lets us get everything in bulk, so we get a little bit of a price discount on the price breaks. So it saves us roughly $150 every year rather than spending extra on shipping twice. And again, we're spending the same amount yearly, so a way to save a little money.
Okay, Dr. Moore, Kidder Media.
And so with the Kidder Media, this would be the spring newsletter, beginning of the year. We put out a fall newsletter, then we put out a winter newsletter. So this would be the spring newsletter. And so asking for your approval of our spring newsletter that would be distributed to mailboxes.
Any questions on those two items?
How many do we send out?
13,481. And that's not the case for every newsletter, but the spring newsletter is important. This is a time that maybe people think about whether or not they want to be at Delphi where amazing things are happening.
5 days a week.
Right. I'm the only person.
All right. All in favor of 8N, Pioneer Athletics, Field Paint, and O, Kidder Media as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, 8P, I'd like to get a motion to discuss Edmentum, the Apex Learning courses.
So moved.
Second, Dr. Moore.
So this would provide virtual learning opportunities for our students at the secondary level. For instance, if there's a conflict with scheduling and they need to take a course, this is able to provide that opportunity for our students, something that we can also provide to some students during summertime for summer school. We currently work with them and are very pleased with Apex.
Any questions?
I'm just curious, we've used Apex for a long time. How many students on average do we have utilizing that at any given time, I suppose?
Yeah, it really does change based on, if there's potential scheduling
Right.
conflicts with this new diploma types. We're having some issues with scheduling and trying to get all students to be able to take all the courses they need at one time. So, I wouldn't say it's what we want to engage in on a regular basis because, of course, in-person learning is the best. But in those situations where we want to make sure students can graduate on time or meet all the course requirements that they need, it's really helpful to us. So I would say, no more than maybe 20, 25 at a time. Summertime, we do have an increase, especially if students need to also recover some credits.
Thank you.
What else? Okay. All in favor of 8P, approval of Edmentum of the Apex Learning courses as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. I'd like to get a motion now for 8R and S. That's the Smekens Educational Solutions for the elementary school and the middle school.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
So this year we engaged with Smekens at the elementary school and we're able to provide professional development to all grade levels with the implementation of a writing framework. And so I invited Mrs. Allard to go and observe and see if she was interested in working with Smekens and offering the same opportunity for our middle school. And so we want to expand that and have that be from K through 8. And so that is what I'm seeking your approval for, but please know that both of these would be funded through Title II grants.
Any questions about those? All right, all in favor of 8R and S, the approval of Smeckens Education Solutions for the elementary school and the middle school, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 8T, I'd like to get a motion to discuss Ice Miller continuing disclosures review invoice.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
So this is a letter of engagement with Ice Miller for continuing disclosures. And you can read the bonds that are listed there. There's 5 bonds, so it would be continuing disclosures for all 5 of those bonds.
Any questions or comments on that? Okay, all in favor of 8T, Ice Miller continuing disclosures review invoice, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8U, I'd like to get a motion to discuss Kratz Sports, the DCSE shirts for all staff.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
This would be approval for a gift for Teacher Staff Appreciation Week polos with our new logo. So I'm seeking your approval for the purchase of them.
Any questions or comments on that one? Okay, all in favor of 8U, the Kratz Sports DCSE shirts for the staff, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. 8V, I'd like to get a motion to discuss perf opt-out option.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
Currently, eligible employees are automatically enrolled in PERF, and this would give them the option to opt out if they choose to upon being hired.
Any questions or comments on that?
Help me.
Something new through the state or?
No, we just have the option as the employer to allow employees to opt out.
Okay.
Help me understand why we or they would want to opt out.
Well, I can attest to this one. I think, so you have to be within a state job for 10 years to get it. So if someone works for 8 years and they don't go back into that job, that they don't get the money, we don't get our half back, and it goes somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a
State.
loss.
Yeah.
I personally, I didn't realize when my wife worked for the corporation, she opted into it because when I found out she did, I was like, why are we doing this? Because I don't know that you're going to be here long enough to get it. But I think it's a disservice that we make people feel like they have to have it if they aren't planning to stay forever, because you're taking money from that employee, and they should be able to opt out of it. We've never allowed them to.
We're not offering an incentive though for them to opt out.
They're not getting anything extra.
No, they
Yeah.
can just choose to opt in or opt out.
If they opt out, does that permanently then?
It is, yeah, that is their choice upon being hired. It's you either opt in or you
So they
opt
can't
out.
opt, like in 10 years from now, they can't opt back in.
They can opt in 10 years, but that years of service doesn't
Does
go
not.
towards
Yeah.
that retirement funding
They can't go back and
in time.
Yeah,
It's a
correct.
200
Correct.
day.
But they could
opt in
Yes,
at
they can
in
opt in.
at any
Yes,
time.
yes.
It just starts from that
Yes.
point.
right,
Okay.
moving forward, right.
This just allows, it doesn't take it away from anyone. It just allows you to have a choice whether you want it or not. Any other questions or comments on the perf opt out? Okay, all in favor of 8V, the perf opt out option, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We're getting there. 8W, I'd like to get a motion to discuss the 2026-2027 school calendar.
So moved.
amendment.
Second.
Dr. Moore.
So Memorial Day was listed incorrectly. Despite us doing our best to always look at the dates. So that is a change, that was updated. As well as the date of graduation. So discussion of, having graduation the weekend of Memorial Day weekend, or waiting 2 weeks until after school lets out. And so I talked with Mr. Long, principal at the high school, as well as he consulted with Student Services, Jessica Baines, to ensure that we could, that we feel confident in making sure that we could hold graduation immediately after school ending. So those are the changes.
And they're all in agreement.
That is correct.
Okay, so that makes graduation for next year.
That would be for next year. That is not for this year.
When is it?
The 22nd, May 22nd, 2027.
Would that be like?
2 days after the last student day.
So then it would be last student day on a Thursday, last teacher work day on a Friday, graduation would be on the Saturday. So the Student Services Department, Jessica Baines, who would oversee the seniors next year, she shared with us the amount of time that she needs. We talked about deadlines, we talked about reinforcing that, and so we're confident that, this can be achieved.
Any other questions or comments on that?
We have had a lot of snow days that year, what happened in the school year, days on, or?
So we have talked about even this year, and administration was in agreement, and the DCTA as well as other staff, that we would engage, not preferred, but in live virtual instruction, so that we would not be adding additional days onto the school year. I mean, honestly, when you start getting it into after the end of the school year in May, instruction is really not valuable. I'd be lying to you if I said it was. Good question, though.
Anyone else? Okay. All in favor of the 8W, that would be the amended correction to the 2026-2027 school calendar as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 8X, I'd like to get a motion to discuss the Community Foundation Impact Grant to support the Little Oracles Child Care Center.
So moved.
So moved. Do we have a second?
We got a second?
Thanks, Chris. Dr. Moore.
A requirement of this grant is to get your approval for the amount that I'm going to be seeking, which is $500,000. And I would like to obtain that amount to help with the development of our Little Oracles Child Care Center. So I'm seeking your approval to pursue that grant.
Questions or comments?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay,
I can feel it.
all in favor of 8X, the Community Foundation Impact Grant to support the Little Oracles Child Care Center, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. There you go, Mike. Now you can tell her good luck.
That's what you can do.
Okay, 8Y. I'd like to get a motion to discuss NIESC, the Director of Media Agreement. Second, Dr. Moore.
So currently we have a media aide at the elementary school and at the middle school. So we're going to move forward with having a media aide at the high school, but then have a director of media oversee each of those positions. So they will be responsible for the overall operation of our corporation's media centers and libraries. And so this person will work directly with those three individuals. And so this is through the service center that we currently have an agreement with, the Northern Indiana Education Service Center, and we will pay a fee for this.
Any questions about that?
Do they then report to them? No, they're still.
So they're not
fully here.
evaluated, or it's like a contract with that person. So they are not a direct employee of ours. Just like the dietitian, just like the mentor for our food service, this is another service that we would be paying for through that education service center.
The cost of that was what, 6,000?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Is what kind of oversight are they doing, or is that required if we have no librarian and we have only media specialists?
So the requirement from the state is that we are asked to have a media specialist that we either have a contract through or that we have a licensed teacher on staff. And so this does meet that requirement. This individual I have worked with before, and I feel it's quality services in terms of the support that they provide to media aides.
So we're not gonna be a full-time librarian in the high school?
It will be a full-time person. They just will not be a licensed teacher.
Okay,
There will be a full-time person there,
okay.
just as there is at the elementary school and the middle school.
Any questions?
So they provide training to our library staff.
That's correct.
What other things are they doing then for the activities to?
Sure. So they help with cataloging. They help with the systems that we currently use. They provide any training, related to that with shelving books, purchasing books, reviewing materials. They also put out a newsletter that shares lessons, ideas, and they're also available for any time someone wants support. They would come in and be on site to offer whatever would be needed to any of those individuals. So again, I've worked with this person before. I feel it's quality services. They're very up to date on things. So I'm excited about what they're going to bring to us.
Yeah.
For our whole district, I should say.
But just to reiterate, it's really not optional. We have to have this role, or we have to have a certified teacher.
That is
in
correct.
the library.
It is required by law for the state of Indiana. That is correct.
Get that.
Just making sure.
For now.
Anyone else? Okay. All in favor of 8Y, the approval of the NIESC Director of Media Agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 8Z, I'd like to get a motion to discuss student services specialist, DCHS and DCMS job description.
I so move.
Second.
Dr. Moore?
With the resignation of the person currently in this type of position right now, I asked for the support of the middle and high school staff, administration and student services to review the job description and update it to meet our current needs. So this is an updated job description.
Any questions about this? Okay, all in favor of 8Z, the student service specialist job description as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We're officially into the double letter area of 8AA. I'd like to get a motion to discuss Ice Miller, the engagement letter review of DCSC compliance with agreements.
So move.
Second. Dr. Moore?
So this would be our engagement letter with Ice Miller. So this would be continuing to work with them, not just for the disclosures. So for the issuance of bonds, they provide guidance to us, our legal guidance.
So this is just continued
Mhm.
support.
Correct.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor of 8AA, the Ice Miller engagement letter as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, 8BB, I'd like to get a motion to discuss design criteria developers' recommendation of performance services progressive. This is the design build project step 1 report.
So
Second.
Dr. Moore.
And so in addition to the step 1 report that's provided, we also have the Rollins group that, provided their recommendation and that they have reviewed the step 1 report. So that item is there as well. So asking for your approval through Performance Services, gave their presentation over the step one and what we're looking for in terms of the projects. And so seeking your approval on that.
Any questions or additional comments?
And the team is here, so thank you for staying and for your support.
All in favor of 8BB, the design criteria developer's recommendation of Performance Services Progressive for the design build project step 1 report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. And that rolls us right into the last item on number 8, that is 8CC. I'd like to get a motion to discuss Performance Services design build contracts. That includes performance design or progressive design build agreement, the contract document number 544, contract price agreement, standard form of general conditions of contract between owner and design builder, insurance exhibit, design builder's insurance requirements. So all of these items are included in 8CC performance services design build contracts.
So moved.
Second, Dr. Moore.
So this would be the approval of the design build contracts. I know some of them are lengthier. But if you have any questions too, Performance Services is here to answer those questions.
Any questions or comments?
Is this the step 2 phase, right?
Exactly, also called step 2. Step 2.
Step 1.
Step 1, step 2. Okay. Shoot.
All in favor of 8CC, step 2, performance services design build contracts as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. And we're finally out of new business.
Good job. You made it.
All right, Dr. Moore, we have some donations and thank yous. Okay.
All right, so we want to thank Erin
Gingrich.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time with that. Thank you to her for monetary donation to the Angel Fund. American Legion Post 75, the monetary donation to the Angel Fund. John Allred, monetary donation to the class of 2028. And Laura Lushin, school supplies donation. Thank you to all of them.
All right, several donations there. Thank you for those. Okay, future dates. We have a couple here. April 25th is the junior senior prom. I believe that is at Ringhurst. Is that correct?
Yeah.
May 22nd, the graduation, 10 a.m. in the high school gymnasium. Should be pretty exciting this year with the new scoreboards that we can use for all sorts of other things. So that'll be exciting. Anyone on the board have any other dates they'd like to?
Graduation is
Graduation the
May 30th.
May 30th it is. May 30th is
Don't,
graduation.
don't show up on the 22nd.
Here it's the 22nd.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
That is approved.
All right. Graduation, May
Graduation.
30th.
It's important
to you.
We'll run through it twice.
Fixed it already.
Text me the day before.
All right, we're down to the area of board comments. Mr. Schwarzkopf.
And thank you. Thanks to everybody that came today. Just real quick, the 8th graders, what a great send off. The staff, it's always appreciated when you can recognize them for their efforts. So we appreciate that. Just real quick, we've got some on our list here, retirements. That's been around the school corporation for quite some time. Particularly, I'll just kind of call out Jerry Sparks. I'll be the start of that, and you guys call out others. Jerry's on the board for 8 years, 12 years. Plus his wife drove buses. He drove buses, and that's where he's retiring out is the bus. So again, appreciate that. Appreciate the presentations. Appreciate Dr. Moore for what you do.
He's done, I guess.
Yes, hey, you guys said last time the meeting went so well when I wasn't here, so I'm like, I'll just get on through quick.
I'm sorry for even pausing to give you that opportunity.
That's your fault.
I thought I'd better start off with sharing, Chip shared some really impressive stats from our spring athletics. Boys baseball is off to a great start. A couple of the players have got some amazing stats. Our own Ava Mills has also got some amazing stats already. Is she still batting 1,000? That was last week.
That was a generous batting.
It doesn't matter. She had it.
But, no, she is not.
But both of those teams are off to a great start. And I understand track is Tuesday the first home meet. Yeah, so looking forward to that. We got a couple of really strong athletes in track as well. Dinner theater, great success, really an impressive production. Students did a great job. Stage was amazing. Costumes were amazing. The culinary arts program, preparing a meal, really did a fantastic job. Got everybody through. It was a good meal. And then they even at the intermission fed everybody cake. So what a cool thing. And they made a little money for the arts department. I want to mention, I voted no on the shirts, but here's the thing. I'm absolutely in favor of us doing that. We need to do those things for our staff and for our teachers. But the Oracle branding, fully in favor of that. We need that. This is a good thing for Delphi. The thing that we're missing the boat on is involvement and inclusion. Our students haven't weighed in on it. Our teachers haven't weighed in on it. Our alumni haven't weighed in on it. Our community and the mayor left hasn't had a chance to weigh in on it. I have a picture that was sent to me from one of our alumni I won't be able to find it. The Cervantes brothers just did a logo of our Oracle, and they gave it an updo. And I thought, that one's cool. Getting a lot of pushback. I know, unfortunately, guys, not one person has said to me, I like what we're doing with our logo. Our logo is distinguished. It's recognizable. And I think we need to slow down just a little bit and get that input from people. And I really would like to hear from students what they're seeing. When I was in high school, we changed the logo. I don't know if there's anybody in here that might remember. Chris would. The old logo, Tim would. Well, hey, we got to go ahead of me a little bit. But our Oracle logo changed, and we went to the new one. That's the block one. Well, that's 40 years old. Updating that is not a bad thing. However, let's make this thing big. Let's make it into a contest. Let's get our arts and graphic design classes involved. We've got talented people in this school that would love to have some input about what we're doing and where we're going. So I just encourage the board to think about that before we get way over the top. And we actually haven't approved this new logo. Yeah, as a logo. And I think that's something we should be talking about. It's forever, or it's at least for a very long time. So I just want to share that. Otherwise, some really good stuff happening around the redesign, the colors, the branding, those kinds of things, spot on. We've had a lot of strange things happen because we don't have that. And just a reminder, big university down the road, wears the colors of black and gold. They tried to rebrand Purdue Pete a few years ago. Does anybody remember that? Total colossal failure. You do. And so, their failure wasn't in trying to redo it. It was just they didn't get the input. And in so doing, the people were just kind of outraged. Hey, wait a minute, you're changing this thing and we don't like it. Well, change is hard, but they end up softening it and making a smaller change. So even Purdue made a pretty big mistake. Whether it's an O, a D, an Oracle, the Oracle with a D, there's lots of opportunities for us to truly think that through. And another person shared with me, we've got like brand new middle school sign we just bought. Are we talking about changing all that stuff? And I've shared this with the board, but those are things we have to think about and share with the community what it means. Are we really changing everything? What is the cost involved in that? We're talking about taxpayer dollars, not our dollars. I'm not the president of this company. I don't get to make that decision. I represent people who want to have an input. And I have about 3,000 plus in the city of Delphi. I think we need to talk to them. So I'll stop.
See, I give you time.
You gave me the extra time.
Yeah.
But good stuff going on. Thank you, Tony and company. Really excited about where we're headed with the facelift. Yeah.
Mr. Nibble.
I'll start off with Performance Services. I want to congratulate them and thank them for their hard work and dedication to our school corporation. We've had a pretty good relationship, and I'm I'm positive that it's gonna come through again, just like always. Won't be disappointed at anything they do. It always makes Delphi look very good. So I can't wait for these changes to take place. And I want to thank you guys again. I know how hard you guys work. And I want to thank everybody that endured this meeting. It did last a little longer than normal.
It's almost 2 a.m., folks.
Yeah. And I would like to recognize Randy German for his time here. He's been here a long time. And Jerry Sparks and Diane Wirtz, 3 very valued employees here at the corporation that put in a lot of years. Add them all up, I'm sure it would probably be close to probably over 80 years, maybe close between 80 and 100 years altogether in experience and time here at the corporation. So I want to thank them very much. And once again, thanks everybody for being here tonight.
All right, Ms. Mills.
Yeah, I would say thanks to everybody for coming tonight. I think, Howard, your updates are always so genuine, so I appreciated the student updates and the teacher updates. Were really well said. I think that those it's clear that you have a culture of inclusion here and what you're trying to do. I think it's great for people to hear about, so thank you for that. Appreciate the updates, Chip. I like all the updates around the gym floor. Locker room completion, I know we didn't talk about a lot of that in great detail, but I think it is exciting for the things that are happening. I think Gil really well said on what we're seeing and doing. I think there is, change is hard, but there are so many things that are for the positive. I think I said it last meeting, I love our social media presence now. I think if we are not saying and creating our own message in the community, other people will do that on our behalf. We have seen what that looks like over the years. That gets a little messy. I think it's a fantastic way for people to stay engaged on all the things. I think it's extremely diverse in what we cover from a social media perspective. So I hope people feel that. And I know that people can come to us or come to you about things that they don't feel like are represented. But I think we've covered a really wide span of athletics to education to students of the month, to the things that we're trying to get done here every day, to the arts. The play, I think, and every school, which that's a lot of ground to cover. So I think, and I do think that the brand standards are incredibly impactful. I think that any way that we want to continue to grow and move forward as a corporation, those things are kind of table stakes in what has to be done. I agree about the logo. I think that there are things that we probably should just be talking about and considering before we put it up on the building, which is a more permanent way, but I think buy-in can happen. I just think we need to think about how we talk about that. But I couldn't be more thrilled about the progress and the places that we're going with what you've been doing. So I appreciate that work. So thank you.
Mr. Priest?
I've heard a couple of our board members talk about some of our retirees. I'm going to tell a story about a couple of them there. Jerry Sparks is the one that convinced me to run for school board 8 years ago. He encouraged me to do it. Randy German had 42 years in the classroom. I had 43, so I didn't very But that, I'm going to congratulate him. Teacher appreciation week will be here and gone before we meet our next school board meeting again, so I'd like all the teachers to know how much they're appreciating Delphi. It says a lot about our school corporation that we recognize them. I like our financial responsibility that we're doing by locking in higher interest rates on our CDs. I think that this shows or demonstrates that we're doing our job. And they're doing their job over in the office. And I want to thank Performance Services for all their assistance in our long range planning. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you very much. That's it.
Mr. Strasser.
We spent a lot of money tonight, guys, and we are doing upgrades that are impacting buildings that are 35, 40 to 55 years old that really needed some money invested in them. So while we're spending a lot of money, it's needed. We're making an impact on our buildings for the next 30 or 40 years. So I really look forward to everything that we're doing with that. And I look forward to our partnership with Performance Services as we move through this. That's all I have.
All right. Our student class representatives, who wants to go first?
I will. So I'm gonna thank you to the presentation from the middle school. I love what's going on, especially like the 8th grade field trips, because when I was in 8th grade, we didn't have field trips. Last time I had a field trip was 7th grade, I think. Well, at least in middle school, so there was that. I'm excited about the gym floors, super excited for those. For graduation especially, they look nice. Every time I walk by, I love seeing the progress and everything that's going on. And then thank you to Performance Services. Super excited to see what's going to be going on outside the school corporation and or like on the buildings and everything. So that's super nice to see.
Kiki stole all my words. That's
I'm sure I didn't.
Yeah,
no, there's no way. Not a chance.
You're so cute. Yes, the middle school presentation was so good. It was so positive. So to see that, I have a middle school brother, so I see a lot of grumpiness. So to see that there is some positivity, that I knew it was there. I knew it was there. So thank you for sharing that. Like Kiki said, middle school is like kind of the last time you get to take field trips. So the fact that you guys are able to do that is really nice. Same thing with the gym floor. I love seeing it. Chip knows I was a little nervous at first, but it looks super good. I'm really happy with the work they're doing. I can't wait to see the improvements next year when I come back from summer. That's gonna be really just nice to see and very refreshing, and knowing that we're in a building that's very much obviously well loved, but seeing that we're still taking care of it. Piggybacking off of what Mr. Smith said, the logo has been a very hot topic, obviously, as I'm sure everyone knows. I think movement is good, and moving forward is always good, and that's what we're doing. And I love seeing that, but also not forgetting to, listen to the voices around you, I think, and listening to students' voices, like you said. But all in all, I think all the movement, the direction we're headed, I'm very excited to go to a school where that's where movement was in. That's where we're going. So yeah, but voices matter. That's all. I'm done.
Okay, I'll round it out. Thank you again, Performance Services, for the presentation, all of the work that has been put into this large-scale project for us. It's been a long time since we've done anything like this, but this also allows us to move forward with this child care center that we really want to do to help feed kids into our school, not only to gain enrollment, to also to help kids be more educated when they come into school. I've spoke about this before. I would rather have my kids in a facility that's teaching them things. Love my mom and dad, but I don't need them watching my kids and letting them run around. So they need to be learning things. So they can do that on the weekend. So pretty exciting things. Obviously, the corporation office, we are very excited to get an updo over there. Get out of Mrs. Allard's space in the middle school and allow them to do their things in here, and have our own space that's very presentable to the community. Thank you to everyone who donated. We had 4 donations on the list tonight. Hopefully we don't forget anybody that does donate. I know some things just go unannounced, but we are thankful for the thought that goes into it. Also the retirements. I had Randy German as a teacher. I don't want to make you feel old, but I'll be 42 this year. So he's got 42 years in that. So, but anyway, I just want to thank everyone. Like I said, long meeting, very productive meeting, a lot going on. And I hope everybody sees those big moves that we're doing and making the school system better. So I just need one more motion, and that is for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
We should let our student.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
I'm gonna know while you're guys' jobs start saying
I showed you.
second.